Blue wants to find love. Indigo wants to find love. Navy wants to find love. A color just wants to be loved. He lives out his place on the color spectrum, yearning for the comfort of a paramour, tolerating perpetual tension with his surroundings in hopes to one day achieve chromatic harmony. Maybe one day, he thinks, she's just around the corner. Orange wants to find love. Red wants to find love. Rose wants to find love. A color just wants to be loved. She lives out her years on the color spectrum, romanticizing about one day finding the one. Dissonant pairing after dissonant pairing, she yearns to one day achieve chromatic harmony. Maybe one day, she thinks.
To take myself seriously.
As much as we love to romanticize the perfect ending to a love story, we all know the reality is a lot more nuanced. There's a lot that goes into making a pairing work, and you will really only know how good something is when you see it work itself out in practice. And the same rules apply to color theory. We love to look at the visual guidelines like the Bible. The complementary colors are permanently tenured. The analogous colors sort themselves out the same way every time. If physics says it's that simple, then why would we ever need to overthink it? There's nothing more reassuring than being objectively right. But isn't fashion ultimately subjective? What is the point of being objectively correct in a subjective medium? That doesn't even make any fucking sense. Dude, how sick is it, right? When someone is objectively perfect for you. Like, this is objectively everything you need to be happy in that moment, right? But then they don't even like you back. Dude, how fucking sick is that? Oh, but we're objectively right though. But we're complimentary though. When was the last time you got analogous zoned by a girl that you found complimentary? I bring this up because the guidelines are nice, right? Like, they're solved, but at the end of the day, especially with color, it really only matters what looks good in practice in context. Like, all right, here's our perfect love story actualized. But also, here's another match that I personally think works just as well. And it is objectively not as solved as the former, as you can see, but subjectively, personally, I think this is better. There's still good, there's still good contrast, but it's not so jarring. Again, though, this is what I'm saying. It's all taste. Another one. Honestly, also very complimentary and aesthetically pleasing. But is it objectively solved though? But like, look, it's not even real though. But it's not even, dude, this is so stupid. Who cares at this point? Here's something that is objectively solved but looks like shit. Like, I don't like how this looks at all. It hurts my eyes, but it makes sense though. But it makes sense on the color. Dude, who's wearing these color combos, dude? Okay. As you can see, do the rules really matter that much? Like, they're good guidelines, but do they really matter? Because, and also, guys, what if your orange is actually, because like, what if we don't have the same orange, Like, what if your orange is actually my blue, and then my blue is actually your green, and then this, and then my yellow is actually this, and then, but your pink is this, but then my pink is this. There's a third guy looking at it, and his orange is this, and it's just like, dude, what the is up with your orange? And we're looking at him like he's stupid. The modern solution. All right, stick to the talking points, bro. Come on! Personally, I find it easier, more exciting, more inspiring, and ultimately more effective to think of my wardrobe through the lens of a color palette. Dude, fuck the color wheel, bro. We're gonna just pick our favorites. And it just makes things feel less matchy-matchy, You kind of want to avoid this, to be honest, and we'll touch up on that later. But I find it more inspiring to have an idea or like a muse, It really could just be anything. If you're lazy, like, honestly, it could be as on the nose as just picking a brand or a look. Like, if you find this and you like it and you want to follow it just because you like it, that's fine. But you could also be really oblique and be inspired by a feeling or like a memory or, something non-tangible, something that you can't even like, What am I even seeing in my head, right? When I'm thinking of memory. You guys don't know, but I do. For example, the first 19 years of my life I spent between Japan and Hawaii. I personally think these locations played a massive part into the making of who I am today. And I personally think that it's a really cool spread. Like Hawaii and Japan, that's like... Dude, like, there's someone watching right now, it's from Ohio. And so, yeah, I'm just so drawn to this. This is kind of like an idea of what I'm seeing, you know, aesthetically, visually. It's a lot of earthy, you know, washed out colors. Just this palette to me is like when I think of my childhood and just things that I've seen and remember, like a lot of it kind of falls within this palette. And I'm sure this isn't objectively solved on the color wheel or whatever, you know, I'm sure like it's not perfectly complementary. I'm sure the analogous colors might be a little weird. Who fucking cares? It looks good. To me, at least, which is all that matters, I guess, at the end of the day. Obviously, this inspires my brand, as you can see, but it also inspires what I'm buying even, because I'm, you know, subconsciously thinking of Japan. So, like, if I buy clothes from Japan, maybe that hits the spot. Who would have thought? And for that, I've been using the sponsor of today's video, Shippin, the service where you can pay a host in a foreign country to go and shop for local things that you can't get here and then have them shipped directly to you. It's a pretty convenient and easy way to get a hold of things without the hassle of importing stuff. And they have a pretty wide spread of countries. And sometimes, for a lot of these places, you just don't even have the option to buy things internationally. A lot of my favorite spots to shop are in Japan because, one, it's just so much cheaper. So this has been a complete game changer to get a hold of things that I would usually have to fly out for. Let's say you're shopping in Japan, right? Find a spot you like, you can place an order on the website, but here's the thing, you ship it to the Shippin host's local address so that you have the option to deliver it somewhere, and then they will receive it, and then they will personally ship that item to you. And then bam! But it's not even just fashion, you can really find anything you need out there, from electronics to collectibles. And you can make an account now and try it out at shippin.com, SHIPPN.com, and use code FRUGAL20 to get 20% off. Truly though, I feel like finding a palette that works with your style and personality is a way better approach to being deliberate with color. And you know, like, just because you like blue jeans doesn't mean you have to wear an orange hoodie, bro. Like, who is doing that? Like, I get it, it's an easy talking point to make because you're objectively right, but like, dude, who's wearing orange? Who is wearing orange, man? This dude, I'm telling you, color palette building is the new dude. The color wheel, bro. Again, this palette I have here, it is expanded even more now, just because like I'm trying to show you how random everything is, right? But it works. And I personally like how it translates to clothes. Like these 3 tees that I just dropped with my brand that I've been talking about nonstop. Obviously, as you can see, it pulls directly from this palette. And so chromatically, they fit perfectly as fundamentals for my wardrobe. And also, I'm just so fucking lazy, man. I think these are compelling enough as a standalone piece because they work so well with my color palette. But just pulling from my color palette, right, that I've kind of set up for myself just makes it really easy to buy and style things. And there's a cohesive vision that goes along with it. And I don't really have to think of the color theory of it all. And they still work though. Like everything still pairs well with each other. Dude, stop thinking about it too much. Just go buy a salt tee at raise.online. Everything is there for you. It's perfectly curated, guys. I will say the idea that you have with color in your wardrobe doesn't necessarily have to have this much depth. Like I'm even over exaggerating a little bit, but also, you know, if you want to give it a shot, I'd highly recommend thinking about it a little bit. Like, just make a Pinterest board or some things that you like and just don't really think about it too much. It's like, oh, I like this. Or maybe even just save a bunch of cool photos on your phone, on your camera roll. Or if you're on Instagram, just go make a saved folder of just stuff that you like. And like buying new clothes, right? Which is always trouble for a lot of people, especially if you're getting into color, because it's like, oh dude, I don't know. Like I have this faded, vintage, nostalgic, Japanese kind of color palette, right? When I'm buying new clothes, I can go see the types of clothes and colors that would work well in this world. From the combos to the textures to even just finding brands that kind of fit this color palette, this world. And I feel like there's so much more, it's so much more fun, but also there's more substance here than just give me that orange hoodie because I'm wearing blue jeans. Give me that orange hoodie because it makes sense. The world building through color, the evolution that you can have of your own color palette if you just make one. All of this will lead to more organic and dynamic looks. Holy shit, this video's fucking long. Which is what you really want at the end of the day. Alright, who wants to see some examples of this shit in motion? Does this really work? Before I show the examples, can I talk about how, like, dude, what is up with people like just matching their whole outfit in one color? Like, I get it, like they're like monochrome outfits that kind of are cool, but there's a difference between like this, where obviously the outfit is like centered around this bold color, and like this, where it's like, dude, like there's nothing wrong with them, right? They still, like, you guys still look good, but there is a little bit of a sense of like this toy when you put like the square through the square hole, like it's all like that's what it feels like. I don't know how to explain. I don't know why. It makes sense though, right? Like his shoes are this color, so obviously the jacket got to be this color, and obviously everything has to be that color. Oh, and I feel like if you kind of also just get stuck into making all of your outfits like this, you kind of put yourself in a box. Like, look at this fit, right? My shoes are red and white, so obviously my jacket has to be red and white, right? And now, boom, like this outfit is solved. If I can only style color like this, then I have to just keep kind of repeating this type of fit, and boom, you're in a box. Okay, but now here's an example of like same idea with the shoes, but now I'm just fucking around, you know? The colors don't necessarily, they're not solved on the color wheel, right? But it's because it works in this palette that I've curated for myself. I feel like everything kind of works. There's a pocket here, you know? There's a little structure to what each color is doing, and now I can just kind of alternate pieces and move around and make a million different fits within the same kind of color palette. I truly think that finding a palette that makes sense for what you're going for first, finding that palette that makes sense first, is truly the best approach to color. Because then you're not just using colors because they work together, you're using colors because they work for you. The Saltees now are available. Look at this palette. They're available in jaded green, late blue, and tired black. And as you can tell, the colors are inspired by me being fucking lazy